was dispatched following reports of attempted or threatened suicides at Olympic Hot Springs Road and Olympic Medical Center, plus a suicide at Gassman Road. There was still another reported suicide attempt or threat Saturday morning at 6th Street, Port Angeles. Over the weekend, no burglaries detected, but 3 thefts were reported in Greater Sequim, 3 in Greater Port Angeles, 1 each in Forks and La Push. No harassments reported, and no threats until way late on South Francis Street Saturday afternoon, but still, assaults persisted with arrests at Port Williams Road, 10:43 Friday night, and along 101 Port Angeles a few hours earlier. The number of disturbances shrank to just 6 countywide, and citizen calls for assistance numbered only about half of last week's count. We did add 2 abandoned vehicles to the growing municipal collection, one from East 5th Port Angeles, the other from Spath Road, Sequim. And with fall and showers of rain, people seem to think it was okay to flirt with the danger of fireworks violations. There was one complaint involving the 1600 block of Elwha River Road, and there was a reported explosion at Forsberg Road address, 2 o'clock Saturday afternoon. And 2 hours later, there was another complaint regarding that very same address, but this one must have been a disappointing fizzle. It was officially listed as just a common fireworks violation. Embarrassing. Sandy Keys, Radio Pacific Local News.
Welcome to Volunteer Spotlight, sponsored by Jim Hagwood, Port Angeles Realty. This is Alan Barnard, and this Volunteer Spotlight shines on the all-volunteer Clallam County Disaster Airlift Response Team, or DART. This first start in our state began in 2017 and now has about 30 pilots and 15 ground support. During events like earthquakes, floods, and landslides, these trained dedicated pilots and ground crew, at their own expense, fly life-saving supplies throughout Clallam County. If bridges or roads are out after a disaster event, these flights may be the only way to access most areas in the county. The DART works with emergency management to save lives and is recognized by the state as the model for all DARTs in Washington. If you know a person or group you feel deserves this spotlight, email info@radio-pacific.com and we'll contact you. It's said that service is the rent we pay for our space on Earth. That's why we present this volunteer spotlight, sponsored by Jim Hagwood, Port Angeles Realty.
COVID is still around and can still make you seriously sick. But good news, the most updated COVID vaccines are the best way to protect against the latest variants. Get your COVID vaccine today. To learn more, go to takecarewa.org.
In other news, if you rely on state ferries to get around, the cost of your commute going up again this week. Washington State Ferries bumping up the price of a ticket by 4% beginning tomorrow, and that change affects every route. It's something the agency warned us about last year when it raised prices by another 4%. The new transportation budget requires state ferries to generate about $419 million in revenue by next year. WSF says that Tuesday also will be the first day with no peak season surcharge for vehicles. However, that surcharge will come back again May 1st next year. Starting October 7th, Olympic National Park will remove hazardous trees along the Lake Crescent section of Highway 101. Drivers should expect up to half-hour delays for alternating single-lane traffic between 7 a.m. and 4:30 p.m. 7 days a week. That project expected to finish up by October 19th. KONP News time is now 12:11.
Trailers, trailers, and more trailers. Whether work or play, a durable, lightweight trailer is a must. Stories Trailer Sales has a full lineup from Alcom, like Stealth Cargo Trailers. These all-aluminum, lightweight, but durable trailers are suitable for any cargo type. Equipment, toys, tools. If you can name it, you can haul it with Stealth. Find trailers, trailers, and more trailers at Stories Trailer Sales. Go to StoriesServiceStation.com. That's STOREYS ServiceStation.com.
Time keeps rolling along, and September is the month we roll out of summer and into fall. This is Dale from Wilder Auto, and this month is a great time to get your car serviced for the months ahead. We offer competitive prices on all of our service options, and the Wilder Advantage includes a staff of factory-trained technicians, free safety inspection with any service, and free car wash. We'd love to keep you rolling, so give us a call to schedule your next service visit or schedule online 24/7 at wilderauto.com.
In 1983, Tom and Ida McEwen opened All Weather Heating and Cooling. Their vision for a family-owned and operated business with personalized customer service made them the #1 choice for all your heating and cooling needs. By 2014, it was time to pass down the business, and daughter Janae and her business partner Dustin Halverson purchased All Weather. In preserving Tom and Ida's vision, customer service is still their #1 priority. All Weather Heating and Cooling, because everyone calls us.
Here's your News Radio KONP forecast, brought to you by All Weather Heating and Cooling. Daytime highs approaching 57 this afternoon under partly cloudy skies, easterly winds 5 to 10 miles per hour. Lows around 48 tonight, partly cloudy. Slight chance for showers tomorrow, 58. Upper 50s Wednesday and Thursday. A peek at the extended shows, 63 Friday, 61 Saturday, and 61 on Sunday. Once again, a high of 57 today. Lows level off around 48 tonight. Highs reach 58 tomorrow. That's a look at your forecast. I'm meteorologist Paul Trombley. Currently, it's 57 degrees.
One note for folks on Verizon Wireless. Some of you may be having cell phone issues today, not being able to make calls, receive calls, or do texting. Not all Verizon customers, but some. It's not your phone, and it's not a local issue. This is a nationwide issue that Verizon is dealing with right now. So some are with service, some are without on the Verizon network today.
Tough to reach that big 4-0. Good morning, I'm Jay Reynolds. Chiefs, Vikings with wins yesterday. They remain unbeaten. Kansas City a 17-10 win over the Chargers to go to 4-0, although they lose Rashee Rice to a knee injury. Minnesota holds off the Packers to win by 2 in a game where the Vikings had scored the first 28 points. Chiefs and Vikings are 4-0. Seahawks can join them tonight. They face the Lions for Monday Night Football. That's one of 2 games tonight. The winless Titans play Miami against the Dolphins. Also on Sunday, 2 teams fall from the ranks of the unbeatens. Bills losing the Sunday night game to the Ravens. Baltimore with a 35-10 rout. Steelers also lose for the first time. Their coach, Mike Tomlin.
I appreciate the fight of our group. I just told them that, but not that I'm congratulating them for it. Fight is required in this business, but I am acknowledging it, and it is appreciated. But beyond that, the real tangible reasons why we lost this game, man, it's on us. We were sloppy in a lot of ways.
For the Steelers, it's a 27-24 loss to the Colts, who were playing with their backup quarterback, Joe Flacco, after Anthony Richardson left in the first quarter. Jets miss a field goal in the closing seconds. They lose to the Broncos 10-9. Falcons get a 58-yarder with 2 seconds to go and beat the Saints. Raiders rally to beat the Browns. Las Vegas coming from down 10. Their second double-digit comeback this season. They didn't have any last year. Bengals get their first win of the season. It's a 10-point win over Carolina. Texans score in the final half minute. They beat the Jags, who fall to 0-4. WNBA Sun, a 3-point win over the Lynx in their series opener. Liberty topped the Aces by 10. Brianna Stewart, 34 in the win. Baseball regular season is over for most. Braves Mets, though, have a doubleheader today to decide the wild card. Braves, Mets, Diamondbacks are tied. 2 wild card spots available. A doubleheader split sends the Braves and Mets.
Turning to local sports now, the Port Angeles Rough Riders swim team defeated Kingston 138-29 and East Jefferson 127-44. The Rough Riders winning all 3 relays. The team swept the 200 freestyle with Amaya Nelson taking first place, Danica Osterson finishing second, and Lizzie Shaw in third. They also swept the 100 butterfly with Chloe K. Sanders winning that event. Osterson finished second, and Maya Francis placed third. Brooks St. Louis won both the 100 freestyle and the 100 breaststroke, while Amaya Nelson claimed victory in the 100 backstroke. In NWAC soccer action, the nation's 5th-ranked undefeated Peninsula men's team beat Shoreline 3-1. Ezra Ochoa, Koya Tamora, and Edwin Diaz all scoring goals. The Pirates will travel to Bellevue on Wednesday. Each victory for the Sequim Wolves football team raises the stakes for their next game. After pulling away from the Port Angeles Rough Riders in the second half for a 27-7 win Friday night, the Wolves and Bainbridge remain the only 2 undefeated teams in the Olympic League. The Wolves face another Pretenders or Contenders game this Friday night as they go to Bremerton. The Knights are 0-4, averaging just 7 points per game while giving up 29. The Wolves, now 3-1 overall and 1-0 in league play, are averaging 26 points per game. They allow 19. Kickoff set for 7 Friday night, and we will broadcast that game live here on KONP with a 6 p.m. pregame show. The Rough Riders, seeking more offensive production, will play at 1-3 North Kitsap this Friday. The Vikings may be back on track, having beaten previously undefeated North Mason 35-14. In high school tennis action, the Rough Riders are traveling to Bremerton today. First serve scheduled for 4 p.m.
Next offer on the way, swing and a miss for strike 3, and it's over. The Mariners win it 6-4 here in game 162 on the year. The Mariners sweep aside the A's, and the Mariners win the final game of the season.
In the final game of the 2024 season, Seattle Mariners pitchers Logan Gilbert and catcher Cal Raleigh showcased why they were the team's top performers. Gilbert retired the first 17 batters before losing his perfect game bid yesterday, while Raleigh smashed a 2-run homer to cap off a record-setting season. The Mariners defeated the Oakland A's 6-4, completing a weekend sweep and finishing the season 85-77. Despite the victory, the M's will miss the playoffs for the second straight year. Gilbert and Raleigh, both entering arbitration, expressed disappointment but praised Seattle's loyal fan base after the game. Their future with the team now uncertain. Seahawks heading to Detroit for the third straight season on Monday, aiming to prove their 3-0 start is legitimate. We will be on the air with Monday Night Football and the Seattle Seahawks at 4 o'clock this afternoon here on KONP.
This is Ed from Leeds Farm Supply and Equipment Sales. Our family has trucked hay to feed the hungry animals in Western Washington for 4 generations. In that time, we have built a growing legacy of serving the needs of our customers, and we've never stopped. In 2014, we ventured into the equipment world by becoming a dealer and service provider for Mahindra Tractors. Since then, we have partnered with quality brands such as Bad Boy, Aaron's Bravely, LS Tractor, Husqvarna, Snake River Trailers, and now Wacker Neuson Construction Equipment. We have a 3-bay shop where we not only service the brands we sell, but we also work on most major brands including Kubota, John Deere, and New Holland. We carry a wide variety of parts, filters, belts, and fluids. We have a fully stocked hydraulic shop and can build hoses for most machines while you wait. Chainsaw or weed eater needs some TLC, we work on small engines too. We even offer welding and fabrication services. We have been earning the Peninsula's trust for over 25 years with your animal's care. We look forward to earning your trust with your equipment's care too.
Newsradio KONP Business. This is a Bloomberg Money Minute. Experts are trying to calculate the financial impact of Hurricane Helene. In addition to power outages, the storm has caused some of the worst flooding ever recorded in the U.S., and the lingering floodwaters are threatening even more devastation. The storm has halted chicken processing plants and damaged some flocks, downed pecan trees, and flattened cotton crops. In terms of cost, AccuWeather estimates that Helene's flooding and destruction could reach $160 billion, ranking it among the nation's 5 worst hurricanes ever. All signals are pointing to a big merger between DirecTV and Dish. Under terms of the transaction, DirecTV will acquire Dish from its owner, EchoStar, for a nominal consideration of $1, plus the assumption of about $9.75 billion of debt. Stocks are starting the week with losses. They're down between 0.2% and 0.5%. I'm Nancy Lyons, Bloomberg Radio.
Let's get a check on the noontime traffic next, brought to you by Olympic Medical Center and by McCrory Carpet One.
Have you found yourself speeding to the next rest stop? If your bladder can't wait, it may be time to see a urologist. Urology is back at Olympic Medical Center. Whether you're dealing with prostate problems or incontinence, a referral to OMC's urologist could be just what you're looking for. Our new urology team is accepting appointments starting this fall. Learn more today at olympicmedical.org/urology.
At McCrory Carpet One, they know how important it is to feel confident in your flooring selection. You want to know it's going to look exactly the way you want it once it's installed in your home. That's why they offer their one-of-a-kind guarantee, making sure you're 100% happy that the floor you've created together is as beautiful as the one in your dreams. If not, they'll replace it for free. That's what they call the Beautiful Guarantee. Peace of mind is yours with every installation. Always priced right, always done right. McCrory Carpet One.
Newsradio KONP, Traffic and Roads.
Up to Clallam Transit Dispatch Center we go. That is where Steve is standing by with a look at the noontime roads for us. Good afternoon, Steve.
Hi there. Hey, good afternoon, everybody. Yeah, kind of a busy day out there. That sunshine out. A lot of people out and about this afternoon. Downtown Port Angeles area, busy with traffic. It is moving along pretty close to the speed limit, just some delays at the stoplights. We also have our road work at First and Ennis. That part of the road is closed at the moment. They're sending you up to Ray Street in order to get up and around that area. So just be aware of that. That will cause a little bit of extra on your trip there. If you're on the highway between Port Angeles and Sequim, things are looking good. It is busy, but it is moving along at the speed limit right now. No issues out there. If you're headed out any further, Hood Canal Bridge, nothing scheduled, but it's been opening and closing all morning. So just kind of plan ahead. You should be fine, but like I say, they don't have anything scheduled. State ferries, though, are running on time today. If you're headed out to the west end, we're in great shape on 101, headed out to the Forks area. Should be a beautiful drive for you. Just light to moderate traffic, and it is moving along at the speed limit. So everybody take care. Be safe out there. This is Steve reporting live from Clallam Transit for KONP.
A better life with Dr. Sanjay Gupta.
There's no question about it. Your genetics do play a major role in determining whether you're more or less likely to have certain health issues throughout your life. But according to a big new study by researchers in China, a quote-unquote healthy lifestyle can add 5.5 years to your life, even if the proverbial genetic deck is stacked against you. So what mattered most? No surprise. It's 4 simple things you've heard me talk about time and time again. Don't smoke, period. Get plenty of exercise. That means 150 minutes of moderate physical activity or 75 minutes of vigorous physical activity every week. Eat a healthy diet. And to that end, the Mediterranean diet is the clear and consistent winner across the board. And finally, really importantly, get 8 hours of quality, uninterrupted sleep every night. That goes a long way. I'm Dr. Sanjay Gupta, helping you live a better life.
Did you know you can get your prescriptions for less at your local pharmacy? You can with GoodRx. It's the free app that can save you money on your medications. Just search for your prescription, choose the pharmacy and the price that works best for you, and then show your GoodRx coupon to your pharmacist at the drop-off counter. GoodRx works at over 70,000 pharmacies, including Walmart, Rite Aid, and Walgreens, and it works whether you have insurance or not. It's easy to save. Next time you drop off your prescription, check GoodRx. To start saving today, go to GoodRx.com. GoodRx is not insurance.
Retired or retiring soon? How much money do you need to live comfortably? Retirement Planners of America is here for you. Would you like to have financial peace of mind? Here's how. Step 1. Find out the amount of money you'll need to retire. Step 2. Have a plan to get there. Step 3. Make sure that plan can take advantage of market gains but protect you from market losses. Discover how to do all 3 with a free consultation at 800-508-6108. That's 800-508-6108.
All investments involve risk, including losses. Past performance does not guarantee future results.
Hello, I'm Jerry Stewart, and this is One Moment in America. There's a lot of talk today about money, the millions, the billions, the trillions. It all sounds small enough, but is it? I'll give you some perspective after this important message. If you've been hearing my radio programs now for the last 20 years, you know that I've been telling the true stories of those who have followed God's ways to make America the greatest nation in the world. So what's the latest? Well, we're now doing this nation-saving work full-time, and we need your help by becoming one of our ambassadors, subscribing to All We Have for just $5.95 per month. To get what? Number 1, full access to our amazing website that is full of over 100 true stories to teach us with these stories how America is to act and operate. We also have lessons for all ages to teach us what we must do now. And our children, they will be our nation's leaders very soon. I will have live presentations online for you to hear, maybe even to participate. And when must this all get started? Now. Call our offices today at 817-995-6965 or go to our website at www.jerrystewartusa.com and email our office. God bless you. Sometimes when we talk about something long enough, it becomes normal and acceptable, and the word trillion is being used a lot today as related to our national debt. Want to know how much a trillion is? If you laid $1 bills end to end, you could make a chain that stretches from the earth to the moon and back again over 200 times and still not get $1 trillion. In other words, $1 trillion is huge. My point? We're being swallowed up right now Unless our U.S. government doesn't stop spending money we don't have. Please stop spending right now. I'm Jerry Stewart, and that was One Moment in America.
For the Washington State News Network, I'm Rob Francis. The Clark County Sheriff's Office said following a 4-month investigation, they've broken up a multi-state car theft ring. The suspects scouted car dealerships and private homes for high-demand performance cars, surveilled them, and then stole them. The cars were either sold or parted out for profit. The CCSO said 23 people were arrested, 11 cars were recovered, worth $700,000. They also seized 9 firearms. More arrests could be coming. And the Department of Fish and Wildlife is taking to the air to count seals and sea lions. Drones will fly over areas where they get out of the water to lay on rocks and beaches. The flights will happen a couple times a month in the southwest coastal and North Puget Sound regions. This fall, they'll focus on the Nisqually, Dos Wallops, and Duckabush River estuaries, counting harbor seals. Counting them helps determine their impact on salmon and steelhead populations. And as the Mariners season came to an end over the weekend, the Seahawks look to remain undefeated tonight in Detroit on Monday Night Football as they take on the Lions. They're 3-0, beating the Broncos, Patriots, and Dolphins thus far. Detroit's 2-1. Seahawks a little banged up for tonight's game. Defensive tackle Byron Murphy, defensive end Leonard Williams, and linebacker Uchenna Nwosu are out for the game. Running back Kenneth Walker III will be back after a 2-game absence. For more on these stories and others, download the WSNN mobile app. You can also visit our website, WashingtonStateNews.net.
This is McGruff the Crime Dog, and I need you to help me take a bite out of crime. Another teenager fell victim to fake pills. Smells like big crime that needs to be stopped. Where are these pills coming from, and how are kids getting them? Right from under our noses, crooks are targeting kids on social media and selling them counterfeit pills that could seal their fate with a click of a button. It may seem harmless, maybe it doesn't even seem like a drug deal, but it definitely is. So before buying pills online, think about this. Should buying prescription pills be that easy? Think these pills are tested and safe? Think they're the same ones you get from a doctor? You know they're not. Did you know that many fake pills contain fentanyl, and an amount small enough to fit on the tip of a pencil can be lethal? Listen, before buying pills from social media, think again. Learn more at mcgruffpsa.org and go for real. Brought to you by USPTO and the National Crime Prevention Council.
Breaking news this hour from townhall.com. I'm John Scott. Speaking from the White House, President Biden says he's been in touch with officials in all of the states affected by Helene.
Communities are devastated. Loved ones waiting, not sure if their loved ones are okay. They can't contact them because there's no cell phone connections. Many more folks displaced with no idea when they'll be able to be returned to the home, if ever, if there's a home to return to.
At least 120 people in 6 states have been killed as the death toll from Helene has climbed and a clearer picture emerged of the devastation stretching from Florida's Gulf Coast to the Appalachian Mountains in Virginia. North Carolina's Governor Roy Cooper predicting the toll would rise. President Biden said the federal government would be with survivors in the nation's southeast for as long as it takes. Also at townhall.com, the man accused of trying to assassinate former President Trump on a Florida golf course faces arraignment today.
58-year-old Ryan Ruth was arrested earlier this month after a Secret Service agent spotted him hiding in the bushes with a rifle at Trump International Golf Club in West Palm Beach. The man was seen before he was able to fire off any shots, but he did escape the scene. He was later apprehended by local police due to a bystander getting a picture of his license tag before he got away. Tasha Stevens reporting.
The union representing U.S. dock workers signaled that 45,000 members will walk off the job at midnight, kicking off a massive strike likely to shut down ports across the East and Gulf Coast. The coming work stoppage threatens to significantly curtail the nation's supply chain. The strike by members of the International Longshoremen's Association could cause 36 ports, which handle roughly half of all the goods shipped into and out of the U.S., to shutter their operations. More on these stories at townhall.com.
Wesley Financial Group is not a law firm. If you own a timeshare, don't miss this public service announcement from Chuck McDowell, founder of Wesley Financial Group.
If you receive an unsolicited phone call or mail piece to discuss selling
renting, or especially canceling your timeshare, don't fall for it. If you really want out of your timeshare, hang the phone up immediately or throw that mail piece in the trash and contact your timeshare resort or Wesley Financial Group for assistance with your timeshare. As the only Inc. 500 timeshare cancellation company, our knowledge, experience, and results has made Wesley a trusted resource for over 40,000 families we've helped get out of their timeshare. Give us a call and I'll send you our timeshare exit information kit free with the straight facts about your timeshare and all of your options for cancellation.
Call for your free info kit. 800-885-3333. That's 800-885-3333. 800-885-3333.
Vietnam state media says a Vietnamese fishing boat was attacked in the South China Sea near the Paracel Islands, which are claimed by both China and Vietnam, and 10 crew members sustained injuries. It was not clear what country's boat attacked the Vietnamese vessel. The cost of a popular ticket that allows people to use all local and regional trains, buses, and subway systems across Germany set to increase by about 18% next year.
Transport ministers from Germany's 16 states have agreed that the price of the Germany ticket should rise from 49 euros per month to 58 euros at the beginning of 2025. One of the ministers said the decision will, quote, put the financing on a more solid footing. The Germany ticket was intended to encourage people to ditch their cars in favor of more environmentally friendly forms of transportation.
Correspondent Jeremy House reporting. Breaking news and analysis at townhall.com. DirecTV buying Dish and Sling as the company seeks to better compete against streaming services that have become dominant.
In a Monday announcement, DirecTV said it would acquire Dish TV and Sling TV from its owner, EchoStar. The acquisition comes in the form of a debt exchange transaction, one that includes a payment of $1 plus an assumption of debt. The prospect of a DirecTV Dish combo has long been rumored. In fact, the two almost merged more than 2 decades ago. The Federal Communications Commission blocked that transaction, citing antitrust concerns. Bob Agnew reporting.
Britain's last coal-fired power plant closing. It will mark the end of 142 years of coal-generated electricity in the nation that sparked the Industrial Revolution. The Ratcliffe-on-Soar station in central England, due to finish its final shift at midnight on Monday. Britain, the first group of 7 nation economies to phase out coal. More on these stories at townhall.com. I'm John Scott.
This is the Newsradio KONP Noon Report.
Todd Wood live from the KONP News Center. Here's a look at what's happening this Monday afternoon, September 30th. The homicide victim discovered in a Port Angeles home Saturday has resulted in the arrest of a man in Tacoma, according to police. Deputy Police Chief Jason Vieira told KONP the investigation started Saturday when patrol officers responded to a welfare check in the 300 block of East Whidbey Avenue and discovered a deceased female inside the residence. A handgun was recovered on the scene near the body. The victim's identity is still being withheld. Vieira says a suspect was later detained in Tacoma by the Tacoma Police Department. Port Angeles police detectives traveled there with a search warrant and arrested 26-year-old Marquise Haggins Moore. Moore was booked into the Clallam County Jail for second-degree murder early Sunday morning. The crime scene is being processed with the assistance of the State Patrol Crime Scene Response Team as that investigation continues. Now, Vieira says anyone with information is now being asked to contact the Port Angeles Police Department at their non-emergency number, 360-452-4545. That's 360-452-4545. City of Port Angeles has a new public works director. The city appointing Scott Curtin to take over the public works and utilities leadership position after an extensive recruitment process. Curtin, who starts this week, brings experience from both the public and private sectors, most recently serving as public works director in Kenai, Alaska. He's also held various project management roles in municipal government and utility districts, with 13 years in the private sector focusing on residential developments. Curtin succeeds Mike Healy, who's retiring after leading some key capital projects and securing multiple grants recently. Healy will stay on through this week to ensure a smooth transition. Let's take a look at some things that happened over the past few days with Sandy Keys and his weekend wrap-up.
The weekend started with a bang. 3 vehicle accidents in Sequim. The first two just 2 minutes apart at River Road and at North Squim Avenue, 8 a.m. and 8:02 a.m. The third at Squim at Highway 101. The next one, the fourth, was 5 hours later on West Front Port Angeles. The rest were widely scattered and tapered off to just 9 crashes altogether, a low number on the day the State Patrol conducted a traffic safety emphasis that could account for the reason we had fewer accidents. There were more than 35 traffic stops over Friday and Saturday. Only one DUI arrest made at Olympic Medical Center Saturday afternoon. Early Friday afternoon, aid was dispatched following reports of attempted or threatened suicides at Olympic Hot Springs Road and Olympic Medical Center, plus a suicide at Gassman Road. There was still another reported suicide attempt or threat Saturday morning at 6th Street, Port Angeles. Over the weekend, no burglaries detected, but 3 thefts were reported in Greater Squim, 3 in Greater Port Angeles, 1 each in Forks and La Push. No harassments reported, and no threats until way late on South Francis Street Saturday afternoon, but still, assaults persisted with arrests at Port Williams Road, 10:43 Friday night, and along 101 Port Angeles a few hours earlier. The number of disturbances shrank to just 6 countywide, and citizen calls for assistance numbered only about half of last week's count. We did add 2 abandoned vehicles to the growing municipal collection, one from East 5th Port Angeles, the other from Spath Road, Squim. And with fall and showers of rain, people seem to think it was okay to flirt with the danger of fireworks violations. There was one complaint involving the 1600 block of Elwha River Road, and there was a reported explosion at Forsberg Road address, 2 o'clock Saturday afternoon. And 2 hours later, there was another complaint regarding that very same address, but this one must have been a disappointing fizzle. It was officially listed as just a common fireworks violation. Embarrassing. Sandy Keys, Radio Pacific Local News.
In other news, if you rely on state ferries to get around, the cost of your commute going up again this week. Washington State Ferries bumping up the price of a ticket by 4% beginning tomorrow, and that change affects every route. It's something the agency warned us about last year when it raised prices by another 4%. The new transportation budget requires state ferries to generate about $419 million in revenue by next year. WSF says that Tuesday also will be the first day with no peak season surcharge for vehicles. However, that surcharge will come back again May 1st next year. Starting October 7th, Olympic National Park will remove hazardous trees along the Lake Crescent section of Highway 101. Drivers should expect up to half-hour delays for alternating single-lane traffic between 7 a.m. and 4:30 p.m. 7 days a week. That project expected to finish up by October 19th. A small earthquake struck near Bremerton yesterday morning. That followed another quake in the Puget Sound region earlier last week. The U.S. Geological Survey reported the 3.0 magnitude quake hit at about 7:49 yesterday morning, a depth of 16 miles. Earlier, a 4.0 magnitude earthquake occurred near Victoria, September 26th. It was felt throughout parts of western Washington. The Washington Department of Fish and Wildlife reminding hunters of the rules for bringing game meat into the state to prevent the spread of chronic wasting disease, or CWD. WDFW Deputy Chief Paul Golden noted that officers have already seized several animals this hunting season. Under state law, hunters must debone meat from deer, elk, moose, and caribou harvested outside the state or in specific game management units before they bring it in. Skulls, antlers, and hides must have all soft tissue removed. Violators face fines of up to $5,000. Chronic wasting disease cases have been confirmed in Spokane County so far this year. This is Newsradio KONP.
End-of-life decisions are hard. Be it pre-planning or sudden loss, you need to have an advocate in your corner, which is why I wholeheartedly recommend Drennan and Ford Funeral Home and Crematory in Port Angeles, the only locally owned funeral home and crematory in Clallam County. Their expertise ensures a smooth process so you can focus on healing and being with your loved ones. Their help through the darkest time in my life will forever stay with me. Call 360-457-1210.
At Coastal, we're celebrating with savings for our anniversary.
Coastal Farm and Ranch, we're just what the country needs.
Shop from Wednesday, September 25th through Tuesday, October 1st, and save $4 off Purina, Leina, Layer, Crumble, or Pellets. Browse our apparel deals, including 20% off Wrangler men's and women's Western jeans. Discover the latest styles from our cool section, new to Coastal. And we're not stopping there. Become a member of the Free Country Club today and be automatically entered to win $500 gift cards, swag bags, a mini bike, or even a new grill. All at your Coastal store.
Coastal Farm and Ranch, we're just what the country needs.
Save and win big this week at Coastal.
This is Alicia. I'm the admin at Ridgeline Home Care Cooperative, the worker-owned and operated home care agency in Clallam County. Our service structure empowers our caregivers, and empowered caregivers make the very best caregivers. Let us answer questions on your in-home care for your loved one. Give us a call today, 360-504-3837. Are you a natural caregiver? Consider joining our fantastic team at Ridgeline and become one of the empowered caregivers at ridgeline.coop. That's ridgeline.coop.
Here's your News Radio KONP forecast, brought to you by All Weather Heating and Cooling. Daytime highs approaching 57 this afternoon under partly cloudy skies, easterly winds 5 to 10 miles per hour. Lows around 48 tonight, partly cloudy. Slight chance for showers tomorrow, 58. Upper 50s Wednesday and Thursday. A peek at the extended shows, 63 Friday, 61 Saturday, and 61 on Sunday. Once again, a high of 57 today. Lows level off around 48 tonight. Highs reach 58 tomorrow. That's a look at your forecast. I'm meteorologist Paul Trombley. Currently, it's 57 degrees.
With SRN Sports, I'm Andrew Stewart. Sunday's winners in the NFL, the Washington Commanders, continue to roll with their new quarterback.
Jaden Daniels threw for 233 yards and a touchdown and ran for another to lead the Commanders to their third straight win, 42-14 over the Cardinals. Daniels becomes the fourth quarterback in the Super Bowl era to run for 4 touchdowns in his first 4 NFL games.
I didn't have any expectations. How much can we learn? For me personally, how much can I learn and keep going? How fast can I learn to become a pro and keep going from there?
Jeremy McNichols added 2 touchdowns for the Commanders. Brian Robinson Jr. rushed for 101 yards. George Tanner, Glendale.
Sunday's other winners in the NFL include Washington, Kansas City, Baltimore, and Atlanta. This is SRN Sports. Sunday's winners in auto racing, round 2 of the NASCAR Cup playoffs, begins with a win by a non-contender.
31-year-old Florida native Ross Chastain, known as the Watermelon Man for his farming background, passed Martin Truex Jr. with 20 laps to go and won the 400-mile race at Kansas Speedway, his first win of the year and the 5th of his career.
The winless streaks are something that get talked about. Ours wasn't quite enough to get talked about. If we didn't win this year, I'm sure the room would have talked about it.
William Byron, the winner of the Daytona 500 earlier this year, finished second, and his runner-up finish puts Byron atop the playoff standings. Greg Eklund, Kansas City, Kansas.
Sunday's hockey preseason winners, Pittsburgh and Utah. Sunday's WNBA playoff winners, New York and Connecticut. With sports, I'm Andrew Stewart.
Hi, I'm Bill Benedict. I served as Clallam County Sheriff with Randy Johnson as District 2 County Commissioner for 8 years. He is an exceptionally talented community leader who puts the welfare of his constituents first. Randy's solid business and administrative background has brought great benefit to the county, and his fiscal restraint has helped keep the county debt-free. Clallam County needs the proven leadership, accountability, and political independence of Randy Johnson to continue as District 2 County Commissioner. Please join me in re-electing Randy Johnson.
Paid for by the committee to elect Randy Johnson for County Commissioner.
Hello, this is Amanda Huff with Swim Valley and Harper Ridgeview Funeral Chapels. I'd like to take a moment to tell you about a new, exciting, and environmentally friendly development in the funeral industry. It's called natural organic reduction, or simply terramation. Perhaps you've heard of it. Terramation is a process in which the body, after death, is returned to the earth in a carbon-neutral, eco-friendly manner. The process takes place in a controlled environment, and all that remains is a natural, odorless, compost-like material. If you'd like more information about terramation and advanced planning, call us today at Harper Ridgeview in Port Angeles or Sequim Valley Chapel in Sequim, and one of our knowledgeable and caring funeral professionals will assist you in answering your questions. Harper Ridgeview and Sequim Valley Funeral Chapels, because your loved ones deserve the best.
Your community-minded friends at First Fed bring you the Community Corner, highlighting good things happening right here in our area.
The PA Community Players invite you to their performance of Almost Maine, running September 27th to October 13th. Almost Maine is a charming and whimsical play by John Cariani at the PACP Playhouse on Lauritsen Boulevard. Performances run Fridays, Saturdays, and Tuesdays, 7:30 p.m., with Sunday matinees at 2 p.m. The doors and bar open 30 minutes before curtain time. Step into a world where love is as enchanting as the Northern Lights. Almost Maine captures the essence of love in all its forms. This captivating performance weaves together a series of charming vignettes, each exploring the joys and challenges of falling in and out of love. Don't miss Almost Maine at the PACP Playhouse September 27th through October 13th. Get tickets at the door.
Community Corner, presented by First Fed.
Stop by Poway Treasure Trap. We're located in the front of Easy Pond in downtown Port Angeles. We have a fun selection of gifts to choose from. Everything from our best-selling leather journals to anime figures and fun pop culture gifts. We also have hard-to-find collectible swords for fantastic displays. And you've got to check out our adult humor section in our front mezzanine that's full of not safe for work gag gifts guaranteed to spark laughter. Easy Pond in downtown Port Angeles.
Ever wonder how the credit card companies make their money? Well, think about this. If you owe $25,000 on 5 different credit cards and you make your minimum payments every month, here's what it's going to cost you. Are you sitting down? You'll shell out over $13,000 in additional interest, and it's going to take over 13 years to pay off your original $25,000 balance. That's how they make money. Now it's your turn to fight back by calling the Debt Solutions Network. We'll work on your behalf to reduce your debt. We specialize in credit cards, retail store cards, and medical bills. We promise we can and will reduce your debt. Call right now for a free 15-minute debt analysis.
800-932-5112. 800-932-5112. 800-932-5112. That's 800-932-5112.
Newsradio KONP Business.
This is a Bloomberg Money Minute. Just minutes to go ahead of Wall Street's closing bell, and stocks are on track to end the day slightly lower. That's after Federal Reserve Chair Jerome Powell said the economy is on solid footing, but that the central bank is in no hurry to lower rates just yet, with a lot more data to come before its next meeting. That is not what Wall Street was hoping to hear, and that's why the Dow is down about 0.33%, the Nasdaq down 0.25%, the S&P down a small fraction. The big decliner, shares of Stellantis down 13%. The parent company of Jeep, Dodge, Ram Truck, and other nameplates slashing its earnings forecast for the year, said it'll lower production and increase incentives, trying to boost slumping auto sales. And after 2 decades of fits and starts, DirecTV is buying rival satellite TV provider Dish for $1. It's also taking on a ton of debt. And if and when that merger is approved, the combined company will be the nation's biggest pay TV provider. Tom Busby, Bloomberg Radio.
Check out the traffic next, brought to you by Angela's Furniture and by Leeds Farm Supply.
Angela's Furniture is celebrating a new season with huge savings. Stop by and browse our sale on our Stressless collection. You'll save 10% on all Stressless furniture with no qualifying purchase necessary. Check out the Stressless Fiona with wood arms or the Stressless Mayfair Signature in all Paloma leather colors. Stressless by Eckernes is the most innovative and comfortable furniture available. Check out the sale savings now, only at Angela's Furniture.
LS Tractor. Do more for less. More standard features, more capacity, and more operator comfort. LS Tractor gives you more. A comprehensive warranty and more PTO horsepower. Do more on your farm, ranch, or acreage. Mow it, grade it, till it, or move it. Stop by your local participating dealer and join the growing LS Tractor family today.
Find the perfect LS Tractor for you at Leets Farm Supply in Sequim. Locally owned and operated, call Leets at 360-452-1400.
LS Tractor, simply more.
News Radio KONP, traffic and roads.
Up to Clallam Transit Dispatch Center we go. That is where Steve's standing by with a last look at our noontime traffic conditions for us. Good afternoon, Steve.
Hi there. Hey, good afternoon, everybody. Yeah, we are doing pretty good out there. It's a little bit on the busy side, both Port Angeles and Sequim, especially downtown Port Angeles right now. Fair amount of traffic making its way through. A little bit slow going in places, but overall we're in pretty good shape. Ennis Street at First, that is closed. While they're doing some paving work there, they're rerouting traffic on a detour up to Race Street. So be aware of that. Race Street's been very busy all day long. It's moving along pretty well, but you're going to get into some lineups there at the stoplight, so just be prepared for that. If you're on the highway between Port Angeles and Sequim, no real issues. Traffic is moving along pretty smoothly. It's definitely busy out there, but it is moving at the speed limit. Beyond that, the ferries are doing pretty well today. They're pretty close to on time. Hood Canal Bridge right now is good to go. Nothing scheduled, but they have been opening it up quite a bit today, so just be prepared if you're headed over in that direction. If you're headed out to the west end, we're in good shape. Just light to moderate traffic out there and at the speed limit. So everybody take care and enjoy your afternoon. This is Steve reporting live from Clallam Transit for KONP.
Thank you, Steve. National Association for Business Economics out with a new survey with a few worries for the near future. ABC's Daria Albinger has that story.
Inflation is easing and hiring is still historically strong, but a majority of respondents to NABE's latest Outlook survey are worried about a downside risk to the economy.
A monetary policy mistake by the Federal Reserve, followed by the conflicts in the Middle East or Ukraine, or the outcome of the U.S. presidential election.
But NABE's Mervyn Jabraj says those risks don't include a recession for now.
Over 64% of them still do not expect a recession until 2026 or later.
Daria Albinger, ABC News.
Experts out with an early look at what toys will be flying off the shelves this year.
What will be the hottest toys topping kids' wish list this year? We got the scoop from Toy Insider's James Zahn. Popular pick is Tile Town. You can build Bluey's house with magnetic pieces and have the characters spin around on the Action Tile Kiwi rug. Canoodle Ultimate Champion, the electronic version of a puzzle game made popular on TikTok, is a must-have for kids and adults of all ages, according to Zahn. Some popular classics are also back, from Crayola's Color Light Wand to the Darth Vader bot for Star Wars fans.
Coming up next hour on the Todd Ortloff Show, first part, we're going to be talking a bit about master gardeners and some things about putting the garden to bed and that sort of stuff. And in the second half of the show, we'll have a first of what will be many of our candidate forums. We'll have the candidates who are running for PUD commissioner coming on the program. That's next hour on the TO Show here on KONP.
Over the years, I've done my best to keep hardline politics off any Kim Commando show. I've warned repeatedly that social media is no place to go for reliable news about the candidates or this election. But what happens when we turn to Google to find dependable information? I'm Kim Commando for Oracle Cloud Infrastructure. Accelerate your AI workload today. Take a free test drive at oracle.com/Kim. Don't think for even a moment that big tech is not taking sides in this election. You would hope that Google, of all websites, would at least try to remain neutral. But a study conducted on September 6th, just a typical campaign day, showed that when Googling Trump's official website, it was buried under 7 news stories and opinions that were against him. Yet when Googling Harris, there were only 3 stories above her website, and all of them positive. So then, where do you go for unbiased information? For the very first time, I can honestly say that I don't believe that there's such a place online. Sign up for my free newsletter at getkim.com. AI might be the most important new computer technology ever. It's storming every industry, and literally billions of dollars are being invested. So buckle up. The problem is that AI needs a lot of speed and processing power. So how do you compete without costs spiraling out of control? It's time to upgrade to the next generation of the cloud. Oracle Cloud Infrastructure, or OCI. OCI is a single platform for your infrastructure, database, application development, and AI needs. OCI has 4 to 8 times the bandwidth of other clouds, offers one consistent price instead of variable regional pricing. And of course, nobody does data better than Oracle. So now you can train your AI models at twice the speed at less than half the cost of other clouds. If you want to do more and spend less like Uber, 8x8, and Databricks Mosaic, take a free test drive of OCI at oracle.com/Kim. That's oracle.com/Kim, oracle.com/Kim.
Your mental well-being can have a serious impact on your physical health, even with life-threatening conditions. I'll tell you more after this.
Offer not valid in all states or where prohibited by law. Loans are subject to lender approval. See website for details.
Meet Brian. He just got $5,000, and it was pretty easy. I'll tell you how in 10 seconds. Brian needed cash help. After being rejected by banks, he tried 27cash.com. Told them how much he needed, even let them know he had bad credit. In minutes, 27cash.com found a lender who deposited $5,000 into his bank account the very next day. If you need cash help, even if you have bad credit, go to 27cash.com. 27cash.com.
Offer not valid in all states or where prohibited by law. Loans are subject to lender approval. See website for details.
Honey, the credit card bill came, and we're maxed out.
Maxed out cards, rent is due. We need cash help.
We should go to 57cash.com.
With our bad credit?
57cash.com helps all credit types. They partner with over 100 lenders to help even people with bad credit get approved for up to $10,000. And cash can hit our bank account as soon as tomorrow.
Wow. When you need cash help, go to 57cash.com. 57cash.com.
We have long known that your mental and physical health are intertwined. Research is now showing that young people who are diagnosed with a mental illness had about 1.5 times a greater risk of stroke and heart attack later in life. These were illnesses like schizophrenia and bipolar disorder, as well as more common ones like anxiety and depression. This data just re-emphasized something I say all the time. You can't treat a body part, you really have to treat the whole person. If you are under the age of 40 and have been diagnosed with a serious mental illness, you are not alone. Managing and treating conditions above the neck is also important for preventing issues below the neck. With Your Body, I'm ABC's Dr. Jennifer Eck.
Got an event? Make it special with live classic hits from Black Diamond Junction. The band voted best on the peninsula the past 7 years in a row.
We hired BDJ for our anniversary party. Their classic hits were so good and kept all generations of our guests dancing.
What a great band and the best entertainers. We had them for an event and won't hesitate to bring them back again. No question.
BDJ made our annual family and friends party the best ever. So professional and great to work with.
Get more info at blackdiamondjunction.com or Black Diamond Junction on Facebook and Instagram.
Rely on us for complete news coverage. We're Newsradio KONP, Port Angeles Squim, a Radio Pacific station.
From ABC News, I'm Daria Albinger. There are reports that at any moment Israel could begin a limited ground operation into Lebanon, and it comes as President Biden again calls for an immediate ceasefire in the Middle East. ABC News national security and defense analyst Mick Mulroy, a former deputy secretary of defense for the Middle East.
Everything we've seen so far does look like it's leading to an actual ground incursion that might be limited now, but might be quite extensive in the future, from targeting the communications to targeting the leadership to these consistent airstrikes to really soften the terrain and the enemy's posture before a ground incursion would happen.
The State Department will only say that at this point, the U.S. and Israel are communicating. The president hopes to visit areas impacted by Hurricane Helene this week if it won't impact the emergency response. White House Press Secretary Karine Jean-Pierre says he's getting consistent briefings on the federal response.
To date, the president has approved requests for federal assistance for 7 states, including 3 major disaster declaration requests from North Carolina and South Carolina, as well as Florida.
Former President Trump, meanwhile, visiting Valdosta, Georgia, with truckloads of gas and supplies. The White House imposing tough new asylum restrictions beginning tomorrow, building on a policy which has been in place at the border for months.
The new rules will keep asylum access blocked for longer periods of time when illegal daily crossings remain high. The restrictions that have been in place since June were to be lifted if and when daily crossings dropped below 1,500 people per day for a week. Going forward, crossings will have to stay below 1,500 per day for nearly a month. Previously, only migrant children from Mexico were included in the count, and now the Biden administration will count all minors toward the total.
That's ABC's Stephen Portnoy. You're listening ABC News.
This statement has not been evaluated by the FDA. This product is not intended to diagnose, treat, cure, or prevent any disease.
When it comes to my lifestyle and diet, I don't always make the smartest choices. Touchdown! Woo! Hey, how about another round and some more chips? But when it comes to taking care of my liver, I do make one very smart choice. Active liver tablets from New Nordic. I used to have real issues with my liver, and at my last checkup, my doc was concerned about my numbers. But since adding a once-a-day active liver tablet, my gut's better, I feel great, and my doctor's happy. I ask a lot of my liver, so the least I can do to say thanks is a daily dose of Active Liver.
You ask a lot of your liver, so give it the support it needs with Active Liver. You can find Active Liver at Amazon.com, or for a volume discount, visit NewNordicUSA.com. Go to new, NORDICUSA.com, Amazon, or ask for Active Liver at your local CVS. New year, new you, New Nordic.
Another grim milestone in Haiti. About 1 in 2 people, about 5.4 million in the country, are facing acute hunger. According to a UN report, the food crisis comes amid ongoing gang violence. A New Mexico judge upheld an involuntary manslaughter conviction against Hannah Gutierrez, the armorer in the fatal shooting of cinematographer Helena Hutchins on the movie set Rust back in July. A judge dismissed actor-producer Alec Baldwin's trial based on his police conduct. A huge settlement involving women FBI recruits.
The FBI agreeing to pay more than $22 million to settle a class action lawsuit brought on behalf of female recruits. The lawsuit claims they were singled out for dismissal in training and routinely sexually harassed by their instructors at the FBI Training Academy in Quantico, Virginia. And many of their allegations were confirmed in a 2022 internal watchdog report. The payout to 34 women would be among the largest sexual misconduct settlements in the history of the Bureau. Derek Dennis, ABC News.
Britain's last coal-fired power plant has now closed, ending 142 years of coal power in the UK. The British government hailed the closure as a milestone in efforts to generate all of the country's energy from renewable sources by 2030. Well, it is officially fall, but it feels like summer across parts of the southwest, and forecasters say highs will likely be in the triple digits in some places. Daria Albinger, ABC.
Hi everyone, it's Leslie Robertson from the Port Angeles Chamber, and I want to tell you about a great opportunity to support our local area. Would you like to meet people from all over the world? Do you like the chance to brag about this beautiful place we live? The Port Angeles Visitor Center is looking for volunteers to help people seeking advice, information, and recommendations when they come to visit our delightful town. Visitor center shifts are short, the schedule is easy, and very flexible. Whether you want a regular day or you'd like to fill in as needed, we will make it work for you. Knowledge about the area is a plus, but don't worry, we'll train you. It's a great chance to meet new people, make new friends, and get to know the great group of volunteers we already have working at the Visitor Center. You'll be glad you did. If you're interested, email info@portangeles.org or call the Visitor Center at 360-452-2363. Or you can find more information on our website, portangeles.org.
KONP News brought to you by Remax Evergreen Real Estate. Outstanding agents, outstanding results. 457-6600. City of Port Angeles has a new public works director, appointing Scott Curtin to take over following an extensive recruitment process. Curtin, starting this week, brings experience from both the public and private sectors, most recently serving as public works director in Kenai, Alaska. He also had various project management roles in municipal government and utility districts, and 13 years in the private sector, focusing on residential developments. He succeeds Mike Healy, who is retiring. Healy going to stay on through this week to ensure a smooth transition.
Here's your News Radio KONP forecast, brought to you by Olympic Game Farm. A mix of clouds and sun this afternoon with highs around 57. Winds out of the east 5 to 10 miles per hour. Lows dip down to about 48 tonight. Cloudy skies with a few peaks of sun tomorrow. Slight chance of rain showers. High temperatures reach up to 58. Upper 50s Wednesday and Thursday. A peek at the extended shows 63 Friday, 61 Saturday, and 61 on Sunday. Another look at the short range. A high of 57 today. Lows level off around 48 tonight. We should top out at 58 tomorrow. That's a look at your forecast. I'm meteorologist Paul Trombley. Currently 53.
It's the Todd Ortloff Show on News Radio KONP. Now, here's Todd.
Welcome again to another week and another show here on this Monday. We're going to spend the first part of the program with my favorite Master Gardeners. We have both Judy English and Jeanette Stair-Green joining us. It's always a pleasure to have them both in with me because it's like old times then. It's old school days, as we say. Yes. So welcome. Good to see you. And we've got lots to cover, including becoming one of you. You two could become Judy and Jeanette. Maybe not quite the same. A Master Gardener.
You can hope not quite the same.
Your opportunity
That's a scary thought,
to do what these guys do.
Yes.
Yeah, could be yours. So we're going to start with that and go into a few things about what we should be doing in the fall now that it's here officially fall and some other stuff with your garden. It's always good information. And Jeanette's pointing at Judy that Judy's handling the pitch on.
She's going to start.
Because we're coming up on a deadline. If you'd like to do this thing, you got to get signed up before the 14th of October.
That's right. October 14th is the deadline for signing up for becoming a Master Gardener, going to the classes. And then they do interviews after that, and classes begin mid-January. And Jeanette and I have been doing the radio show for a while now, which has been totally fun. And doing the Master Gardening and doing the classes and doing the volunteer work has been a real treat. Is there work involved? Sure there is. Do we have fun doing it? Absolutely. So let us tell you a little bit about what goes on. As a student, you have classes about, expect 6 hours of class a week, and the amount of time you spend on homework during that time is 3 to 6 hours. And then after you've done all the homework, you actually have, at the end of the session, you do a quiz to see if you have qualified to go on from there. And you have to get 80% correct on the quiz. But the training that you do during this period of time, the class time, is so interesting. And you're exposed to so many resources through WSU. And all of this is WSU, but Washington State University-based information. So it's, I've said
you're
this
getting
before.
A college course out of the deal, basically,
You're getting a college course
right?
out of it, absolutely, with some just stellar instructors. And I was really impressed. I thought this was going to be fun. I thought it'd be interesting because a longtime friend of mine recommended it when we first moved up to Washington State. But I had no idea how valuable it would be. And probably to me the most value, two things, is that the resources that you were exposed to and then forever have available to rely on, and the connections that you make with other people where this is a common interest between you, and the friendships that are established, and that sense of collaboration and depending on each other to solve problems or develop new ideas. So it's a pretty well-rounded opportunity, and I think well worth anybody who's debating about it, go for it. Submit your application. Jeanette,
I mean, we have so many gardeners, home gardeners, who like to dabble, just do a little bit of this or that, and they oftentimes get tips from their neighbor or their mother-in-law or there's like, and sometimes it turns out well and sometimes it doesn't. This course is going to allow you to understand all that and put reason behind what you maybe have been doing for years, or give you new ways of doing things. And so many of us are transplants to the area. You can't garden like you did down in...
Absolutely, yeah.
Exactly. Yeah. And this is, you get exposed to people who are gardening here. And we've got folks who know vegetables, fruit trees, berries, ornamentals. You know, it's just like we have people in our organization who have a lot of knowledge and experience with those things. And you get to sit right with them and learn from them. And it's just incredible.
And this area is a great growing area. It's different, as Jeanette just said, it's different than a lot of other parts of the country. But once you learn how to grow in this area, the soil is fertile, the weather is really very conducive to a lot of crops, and you learn how to grow in a shorter season, and the resources here are just phenomenal.
Here's what I also have found. All of my Master Gardener friends, you two are a good example. I mean, not only do you do the radio thing, but you kind of become experts in your own little bit of a field, too.
Yep.
Certainly tomatoes we talk about with you all the time,
How
Judy,
to
right?
experiment with tomatoes. I'm into it.
Yeah, and Jeanette is the vine lady. She's the...
berries
she's
all
about
around.
the berries,
Yes.
right?
All about berries.
Yeah, and that's part of it, though, is finding where your passion lies. When you come in, I think the metaphor that's always used is like drinking out of a fire hose. There is so much you can know about plants. And so you get what you can, and then you realize like you really enjoy doing this or that. So much so that you want to become the mini expert, the local expert, and then turn around and share that information with local gardeners.
Yeah.
It's so much fun.
And anytime I've been around all of you folks, you've brought in your friends from Master Gardeners to the back. You all get along. I mean, it's kind of this little, it's this special club, if you will, right?
It is. It is. And you can't go to any event without seeing another Master Gardener and comparing, how did your tomatoes do this year?
Right.
Actually, they did very well.
Okay, so people need to get applications, and now there's an interview process. So tell us a bit about, because that might make some folks a little maybe nervous about things.
The interview is kind of a casual thing. The intent there is that we just want to make sure that people understand what the program is really about, and that they've thought about that there are classes, there's homework, there's volunteer hours afterwards, so that the fit is good. It's not a matter of that we're evaluating.
Make sure you realize that once you get a Master Gardener tag to you, you have things that you're going to do for a while.
Yeah,
right?
and responsibilities. Because now you no longer are going to say, well, Grandma used to do it this way, and have no understanding as to why. And by the way, Grandma lived in upper New York State, not exactly the same as here. It's science-based WSU information, so you learn. For me, so I did an article on soil many years ago, and it was fascinating because you think of it as dirt. Well, it's not dirt. It is dirt, but what makes that up? What makes up soil? The particles in it, the space between those particles. Why is that all important? Why is it important to have organics in your soil? Things like that. So for me, the perception of what I'm doing when I'm gardening has changed a bit. It's a little bit more sophisticated. It's there's more to it. It's really more exciting because I have a better understanding as to why it works or what's not going to work in the environment.
And the mission of Master Gardeners is that we are stepping in to help our extension agent to extend our extension agent.
Right. You're in the arm of the extension office, essentially.
We are.
Yes.
There's just so much interest in gardening that our extension agent, our extension director cannot do it all. So we have been trained as these underlings who can help out in that process. And through that, Washington State University, WSU, backs us completely. If we follow their recommendations, if we share what they are teaching us to do, they will be behind us 100%. So it's really an incredible opportunity.
It is. And Master Gardeners are all over the United States. It's not just in Washington State.
I know. You tap into people. I mean, when somebody has a question about Upper Michigan, you'll find a Master Gardener there and ask about it, right?
So the Master Gardener organization is all over the United States. And so for those people who move here, if you've been a Master Gardener before, you're already connected because you're part of the Master Gardener organization. If you move someplace else, there's an extension there, extension office, and the Master Gardener program there. So that's pretty cool.
To say something about the training itself is that I think, when it was the COVID pandemic, that kind of disrupted some of our training. But now we're back together as a group. These will be in-person training. I believe that the 6 hours that Judy mentioned earlier are going to take place on a particular day. You get assigned a mentor who's going to help you be there to answer questions that you don't get answered in your classroom time, to help guide you through the organization, again, find what you are interested in doing. And I understand that this year we're going to be bringing a lot more WSU staff in again.
Excellent.
Yeah.
It's really such an incredible thing.
Which is what they did on a regular basis when Jeanette and I did training. That was the norm. The professors came from WSU to here and did the lectures. And they're so knowledgeable, and so you'll have the opportunity to interact with them one-on-one.
Well, it is an ag school, so they ought to know how to grow things.
They ought to know how to grow
right?
things. So how do you get your application?
Yeah, so let's talk about that. There is a bit of cost too,
yes.
right? Okay.
So the cost is $350. There are scholarships available, so you can approach it that way. You get your application by going online to WSU. Master Gardener Training, anything like that you put in online will pop it over to...
With Clallam County in there.
Oh, Clallam County, right, because as I said, it's in every state, so... and every county in every state, probably. So you can get your application online, print it out, and then you can take it to the Extension office here, which is at 1914 West 18th Street, or you can mail it in, or you can email it, complete it online, and then email it to harmonyrutter@wsu.edu. So again, you could, if you don't remember harmony.rutter name, I had to look at that again. If you don't remember the name, you could just mail it to Clallam County Master Gardeners, and I'm sure it would get there.
And all of the information is where you get the application.
Yeah, you're going to get it. Yeah,
right
it's going to be on your app.
Be right there.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
But got to get those in by the 14th.
Yes, that's only 2 weeks away from tomorrow. Tomorrow's October 1st already. Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
And then interviews the following week, and then you'll get your notice that you've been accepted, and classes begin mid-January.
Yippee!
Exciting.
All right, and you
exciting.
too can become, and you don't have to go on the radio. You've had people probably say, well, I mean, I have to go. There's plenty of ways you can do your hours, right? I'm not replacing you though. You've tried to give it up, and I don't let you go. That's the thing. So there you have it.
The most fun, fastest time spent is here on the radio show.
That's good.
So much fun.
That's good.
Yes.
All right. Let's get into some master gardening stuff right now. Putting the garden to bed, which it's that time.
Well, a lot of folks think that they can probably hang up those gardening gloves. They're dusting their hands off and going to get in the Barker recliner, whatever.
And go to hibernate.
I'm like, no. What you do now is going to make such an impact on how successful your future gardening is. And so Judy and I'll kind of do a little back and forth of like, how do we want to think about it? And I'd kind of like break it down into what do we need to clean up from this year? What do we need to protect our plants over the winter time? And then what do we do to prepare for next gardening season? So talking about cleaning up the garden, pretty much, with a few exceptions, anything that is an annual plant, and if it's no longer producing flowers or edible, whatever, it needs to be pulled up. If you leave that stuff in the garden over the winter, it's just going to break down and be an attractant to pests.
Okay.
And it could put disease in your soil and that sort of thing. So get out there and clean up your garden. Now, what are the exceptions? I know that was what was on your mind. Yeah. The exceptions are kind of leafy vegetables, because a lot of these will actually overwinter. Okay. They'll slow down. They may look kind of sad, and then when the temperatures come back up in late winter, they start producing again. So kale, lettuces, arugula, spinach can actually be overwintered.
Just don't look at it too much.
Just don't
winter,
look at
right?
it.
Yeah.
If ideal situation is you actually protect it a little bit from the elements, because the leaves are going to break down and look pretty ugly. But you clean that up once the late winter, and again, you're going to have a very early crop of all of those things that you can enjoy.
Right.
All right.
Because those roots are already in there, ready to respond to that warming soil. I did that with kale last year. I have the largest, most abundant crop of kale this year that I have ever had, because I left some of them in and then protected them over the winter, the entire winter, so that this spring they were already growing and took right off.
Okay.
So that was pretty exciting. So what else do? You protect some of your perennial plants, like if you have blueberries or anything that has a bark on it that's going to stay in the ground. Rodents can eat that bark during the wintertime. So if you put wire mesh around it or some kind of protection around it, you can keep the rodents from doing that. And using a mulch around things will protect those plants from the super cold weather. And if you have a plant that's a half inch, the stem is a half inch in diameter, which some little blueberry plants are pretty skinny, it doesn't take a lot of super cold weather to really damage that plant. So consider saving some leaves, some grass clippings, some whatever, burlap bags, and just mulch around it lightly so it can still breathe, but give it some protection.
I think it's really a great idea if you have any ground that's lying fallow, that means you've pulled stuff out, go ahead and put down leaves or compost or something like that. It will protect the soil from erosion. They will break down over the wintertime, and then you just dig that in next spring, and you're going to have really some very rich soil to be working with.
There's even a product now that you can buy that's not a landscape cloth. It's it's sort of like a landscape cloth, but it doesn't last forever like landscape cloth does. It decomposes, but it lasts long enough to protect your soil from the rain beating down on it and little grass starting to grow before it gets too cold for grass to grow, that kind of thing. So you might.
But then it gets out of the way by the time you're ready to use it again.
Yeah.
You use your garden again.
Well,
all right.
Something to consider.
All right.
If you have plants that are going to overwinter in pots, you might want to protect them because their roots are kind of above ground. They'll be more exposed. Putting bubble wrap or layers of newspaper around those pots would be a good idea.
So let's see what else. You should be cleaning up your tools, getting them ready for next season, all those supplies that you need, identification tags, things like that.
Pots. Clean those pots. You will be so glad next spring when you just pull them out and they're
all
nice
ready
and
to go.
clean.
Right.
Yes.
And you don't want to use them if you didn't clean them, because anything that was in there last year that could be a problem or maybe became a problem over the winter, you're just going to have to deal with that problem and maybe screw up your veggies this year or the coming year. So, and big exciting thing, remember that this is the time to plant spring flowering bulbs. So if you want to add a little color to your veggie garden, put in some spring flowering bulbs now. Tulips, daffodils, iris,
crocuses, hyacinths.
When's the last time to plant that?
September, October, and half of November.
So you've got halfway. You've got another month and a half, basically. But now's the time.
Better. Yeah.
Essentially, what you want to get that bulb in the ground, and it actually starts growing roots to get established.
Yep.
And then it needs that cold so that it chills the bulb so that the flower will actually develop. Without the cold, the flower won't develop. So,
and if you have iris, that's a corm, C-O-R-M, and it already has roots on it. So if you're going to transplant or would like to spread some iris to another part of your veggie garden, just to have some color out there, now's the time to do those.
Okay.
What else?
I would certainly encourage everybody, if you haven't tested your soil for a while, and especially if you've had, maybe things aren't seeming to grow like you want them to grow, is to go ahead and collect a soil sample and get it tested for nutrients and other things, pH in the soil.
And because if you're going to do an additive to it, this is the time to sometimes do it, right?
Some additives you will do now. To change the pH, yes, now is the time, because it takes months for the pH to actually change if you put sulfur or lime on it. Things like nitrogen, any kind of processed fertilizer would go on right before the plants start coming out so that they'll have the most fertilizer right then. But yes, now helps you prepare, again, doing that soil sample now helps you prepare for next year.
All right. Before we run out of time, you guys want to talk about water conservation of all things.
Yes.
I mean, it's kind of hard to think about it at this point because we had some rain, but we're still kind of in that thought process.
We're still in a drought because we don't have as much accumulated snowpack remaining from last year up in our mountains, and we may not get as much accumulated snowpack this year as we would. And by the way, there are a lot of areas that I see as I drive around Port Angeles and swim that have new housing being developed, which means more flushes of the toilet, more showers, things like that, so more demand on our water. So I think as we're closing up our garden and getting ready for next spring, think of it in terms of how do you want to garden next year? What can you do to conserve water on your garden?
And maybe you're going to put a drip irrigation system in, for example, right? Now's the time to plan
maybe
for that.
Maybe you want to do that.
Okay. Imagine how
highly encouraged.
Yes.
Highly encouraged.
And if there are some things that you can be doing right now to save water, like be thoughtful about, do you really need to be watering your potted plants as much as what you have been during the driest months of the summer? Probably not. You haven't been watering your yard anyway. I expect most people stop doing that because we don't want to have to mow it all the time, and the rains will take care of it. So be thoughtful about how you're using that outdoor water, because if we all do a little bit of thoughtfulness, we can save a lot of it.
Yes.
Yes. All right. What else? And if you want more information about water conservation, just go to Water Conservation WSU. And again, it'll just kind of push you into the right area. I tried it right before I came over here. And you'll get even more information about what you can be doing and how much of a drought we are in. And this is the third one in 10 years that they had declared it drought conditions.
All right.
Little did we know.
As our friend, the late Bill Roble, used to say, that this is the best time because this is when you plan for next year. He used to get very excited about this time of year, actually.
Like that, didn't he?
And might be new things coming, and now's the time to get ready for them. So, things coming up. You guys have a few things happening in your world for the public to engage in.
Yes, we do. One that is always exciting for both Jeanette and I to talk about is the Master Gardener calendar, which is available now, and you can buy it locally. And it has not only a calendar, but it's got all of the events that we are going to be having that we know about as we enter the year already in it. It's got planting tips for every month that I always rely on.
And you can get that at the Woodcock Demonstration Garden on Thursdays. They're there in the morning. You can get it at the 5th Street Community Garden here in Port Angeles, and that's on Tuesday mornings. And you can also get it at Fiddleheads, the gift store in downtown Port Angeles. Yes. Okay. It's a fundraiser for us, but it really is made for you guys, you gardeners out there.
And pictures from local master gardeners, too, on it. And they're fabulous. It's a wonderful calendar. It's lots of information. So, all right, plant clinics. Those are continuing, too, even though we're not growing like we thought we were.
At least through October, we're going to be having plant clinics. There's one at the Woodcock Demo Garden this Wednesday from 10 to noon. And then on Saturday at the Sequim Farmers Market from 9 to 2. And on the 19th, again at Woodcock Garden. So,
and you can always submit questions and pictures online. Again, it's great to get familiar with our website.
Yes.
All right, digging deeper. Woodcock Walkabout, you're still doing a walkabout? I understand, right?
Yes, on the 3rd.
Okay.
One more on the 3rd.
And then also at the 5th Street Garden, is that happening still through October? Because that's wrapping up, or are you done with the
I think we're done with the Saturday walks.
Yes. Yeah, okay.
It's been a fun year.
And stay tuned. You've got the Digging Deeper stuff continuing. That goes all the way through the rest of the year, basically.
Yeah, we're going to talk about growing mushrooms on the 19th. At Woodcock Garden.
Yep. Okay.
So if you're interested in trying to grow mushrooms, a friend of mine tried that one year. It's a little challenging, but it's really a gratifying thing to be able to grow mushrooms that are edible. They're edible.
There's that, right?
There is that, right? So just as an example.
All right. You guys are just way too busy. You have too much stuff going on. So stay tuned. We try to announce as many of them on our community calendar as we can. And it's great to see you again. Jeanette Stair-Green, always
to
good.
See you as
wonderful. And Judy English, thanks for stopping by.
Thank you, Todd.
And we're going to do it again next month. We'll have some folks in from Master Gardeners in the Extension office to talk about some things. We're going to take a break. And up next, we're going to be talking with the two PUD commissioner candidates. Ken Simpson and Phyllis Bernard will be joining us right after this.
This is the Todd Ortloff Show on Newsradio KONP.
I understand that as our world becomes more automated, receiving personalized service from a real person is more meaningful than ever. I'm Dan Shappy, and as a farmer's agent, I know a thing or two about how to help you select the insurance you want so you can
protect what matters most.
Call 360-681-0696 to learn more and chat with me, a real person and experienced farmer's agent, today.
We are farmers. Bum, ba-dum, bum, 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 bum.
Underwritten by Farmers Truck Fire Insurance Exchanges and Affiliates. Products not available in every state.
Red Carpet Car Wash in Carlsberg is always adding to the list of things they provide to keep your vehicle looking brand new. The full detail shop is just one more service to check off that list. Not only will your interior and exterior shine, your engine will sparkle too. Red Carpet is also getting some winter upgrades, including new equipment in the manual bay and new vacuums. Call Kyle today and let him get you scheduled for your red carpet treatment Tuesday through Saturday. 360-461-0826.
When purchasing a home or land, nobody wants to inherit existing debts or legal issues that could interfere with their property rights in the future. That's why it's important to work with local title insurance professionals and protect your rights with owner's title insurance. Olympic Peninsula Title has been protecting the property rights of Clallam County customers for 35 years. Put our team of professionals to work for you. For title insurance, contract collections, and escrow services, opt for Olympic Peninsula Title.
Hi, I'm Morgan Grawl-Worthington. I'm a local educator and the head coach for the Port Angeles High School fast pitch softball team. I've known Randy Johnson since the age of 10 when he coached my Little League team. Randy has always been a big supporter of the youth in our community through his leadership in 4-H, the YMCA, and juvenile services. Just as he has supported our kids, I am proud to support Randy for re-election as Clallam County Commissioner, District 2.
Paid for by the committee to elect Randy Johnson for County Commissioner.
At Coastal, we're celebrating with savings for our anniversary.
Coastal Farm and Ranch, we're just what the country needs.
Shop from Wednesday, September 25th through Tuesday, October 1st, and save $4 off Purina, Leina, Layer, Crumble, or Pellets. Browse our apparel deals, including 20% off Wrangler men's and women's Western jeans. Discover the latest styles from our cool section, new to Coastal. And we're not stopping there. Become a member of the Free Country Club today and be automatically entered to win $500 gift cards, swag bags, a mini bike, or even a new grill. All at your Coastal store.
Coastal Farm and Ranch, we're just what the country needs.
Save and win big this week at Coastal.
The good thing about these cooler seasons, you spend more time inside and you get new perspective on your surroundings. The kind of perspective that sets out those voices in your head. The ones that say, hey, look at me. I'm getting old. I'm worn out. I'm dull. Replace me. That is your old flooring talking. Let TJ's Flooring in Port Angeles quiet those voices with a fall floor makeover. You'll see sales on all hardwood, laminate, and carpet stocked in our warehouse. And of course, if you don't see something you fall in love with in store, TJ's can special order something perfectly tailored to you. TJ's will bring new life to your home and you can rest easy, knowing they have the pro installers to get the job done right the first time. After all, you can spend your hard-earned dollar on some beautiful new flooring, but if the installation isn't up to par, you're throwing money out the window. TJ's will make sure that doesn't happen. Stop by the warehouse today and browse the fall flooring sale. TJ's Flooring, Highway 101 East and Monroe Road, 360-670-5188.
All right, welcome back to the show. We're going to spend the last part of the program today with the first of what will be a series of candidate forums, and we're kicking it off with two of the candidates running for Clallam PUD Commission. And we welcome to the studio Phyllis Bernard, who is currently in the seat that's up for election, and we have Ken Simpson, who's challenging for that as well. I thank both of you for coming in today. It's great for our listeners to get a chance to hear firsthand from our candidates, so thanks for that and carving some time out of your busy schedules. Phyllis, we're going to start with you, give you a couple of minutes of an opening statement about you.
Sure, and thanks, Todd, very much for having us on. And hi, everybody. I'm Phyllis Bernard. I have been your PUD commissioner since this spring when the sitting commissioners chose me, actually over Ken, to fill the unexpired term of Commissioner Jim Waddell. They chose me because I have decades of experience at the national level with the electric power grid and the energy trading markets that Bonneville turns to when it needs electric power to deliver to your home. I have experience at what it takes in order for green energy to be more than just something we talk about, to actually deliver it at a price that people can afford. That's terribly important. My whole career has been spent fighting government overreach in various capacities ever since the 1980s. That was my first time, actually, though, when I was able to serve in a public office. I had the honor of being appointed by President Reagan and followed up with President Bush Sr. I have served Republican and Democratic administrations at the federal and state level. I work with anybody who's serious about solving problems. And I have been able already to be an effective voice for Clallam County, for the concerns of our rural communities, in the work that we have already started with the Washington State Association of PUDs, for us to be able to bring certain messages to Olympia that are very much needed, and also by participating in some of these extremely lengthy and detailed negotiations that are going on with Bonneville Power Administration for the new contract that's coming up. And even though I've never run for office before in my life and never intended to, I'm running for office now because I want to be able to complete the work that has been started. And as the notice had gone out originally back in February, we've had a lot of turnover on the PUD Commission, and it would be good to finally have some stability, a 360-degree set of skills covering each sector, and for there to be some steadiness for a while. And that's what I would like.
All right. Thanks, Phyllis. Ken Simpson, a couple of minutes about you and why you're running.
Yeah. Well, thanks, Todd. Appreciate being here. I'm Ken Simpson, and I'm born and raised here in Port Angeles. I've been an electrical contractor and electrician for the last 34 years here at a family business that my grandfather started about 70 years ago, and proud to have worked and lived here my whole life. I, as a electrical contractor, act as an agent for most of you homeowners and business owners when you need electrical help, and that puts us in a situation to coordinate our efforts with the PUD and the City of Port Angeles and their utility, and even Jefferson County PUD. But it takes the both of us to get power to you. It's my job to understand what it's going to take to get that done, what materials you need, how to coordinate those projects. And so my job is to know what's going on with the PUD and to work alongside them to benefit you, the customer. So I'll talk more later about the relationship between the PUD and their customers as it relates to electrical contractors. But basically, we serve we serve the same customers. Oftentimes, that's exactly how it goes. But been here my whole life. Proud to know a lot of people in the community, and proud to have spent a lot of time volunteering. I believe in service to the community, and being your commissioner would be one other way I could serve. Not interested in running for any other office. I think my job in my life has set me up to be a PUD commissioner, and I think I'd be a good one for you. And I appreciate your vote.
All right. Ken, we'll start with you on the first question. It's about the economics. What would you do as a PUD commissioner? What do you see the PUD Commission doing to keep my power bill from continuing to just escalate to where it's becoming unaffordable?
Right. Well, right now, the best thing we can do is to negotiate a good contract with Bonneville. That's going to start in 28, but it's going to, pretty well be signed by this time next year. So right now, negotiating that rate is the best thing we can do. One of the things we could do is rejoin the Public Power Council, who negotiates on behalf of several hundred other public utilities like ours. We're not a member of the PPC. We were 4 years ago, and we were asked to not show up anymore. They'd love to have us back. The commissioners have talked about doing that, but they haven't spent the money, which is about $1 per PUD customer, to join that group. That'd be one way to go about it. As it sits now, we're negotiating with Bonneville directly. Not something that's very common for a small utility like ours, but from the sounds of it, those negotiations are going in our favor. So proud of the people at the PUD that are spending their time meeting with Bonneville and having those conversations about keeping those rates low. We are a disadvantaged community. There are some targeted grants that fit us, and I think that we should do everything we can to go after whatever's available if it makes sense financially.
All right. Phil, the same question. How did, what would you do as a PUD commissioner to keep my power bill down?
Okay, fine. And first, Kent, thank you for that compliment about the current negotiations. Yeah, we've been working hard on that. And actually, it's not about the PUD specifically, this Clallam County PUD on its own. We are part of a larger statewide organization. And it's through that organization and conversations with their attorneys that I, as an attorney, have actually been able to have a little bit of input that has actually been strategically important. Because what Bonneville, like any government agency, and God knows I've dealt with them long enough in my life, and when I served on the board of directors for Southwest Power Pool, that regional transmission organization that runs the grid in a 14-state region, we always had that challenge of what did the algorithm say and what was reality. And then how do you make sure that we don't get run over in that gap? Well, I was able to say some things at the right time with the right language and the right background to try to make sure that we have a way to challenge that. I think that one of the most important things that we do going forward is, first of all, we continue to push back through our trade associations against the big AI servers and data centers that are trying to push 30% increases in costs to us. The other part, though, is to do with the droughts that have been so severe that until as of May 29 of this year, Bonneville had posted a $280 million revenue loss, because it did not have enough water to run its hydro at the way that it should have been, and also the cost that it had to pay to cover the winter storm Uri. We have to be speaking with our customers. We have to be reaching out to the people that we serve at the PUD here in Clallam County to make sure that we are understanding what their needs are and to hear back from them. What are the best ways forward in all of this? Costs are going to be going up so long as we have inflation in the economy. That's just real, okay? But nothing should be a surprise. And just as I learned through the collaborative approach that we used with the organization where I used to be on the board of directors, the more that we talk to the people on the ground who are actually experiencing it, the better decisions we can make. And that's one of the reasons why I've been pushing, ever since I started on the PUD Commission, for us to actually activate community advisory boards so that our ratepayers have a continuing dialogue with us as we go along. No rate increases should be a surprise to anybody. And yes, we do have some really fine grant writers for the PUD. And I frankly wish that we would do more to share that information with our community, because some very good stuff is going on.
Right. Phyllis, relative to this, let's talk green energy. You said that in your opening remarks a bit about that. It's inevitably you have a portfolio that's a requirement under the state that the PUD has to have X amount of investment in green energy. It's expensive. How do you balance that out? What's your take on how the PUD does this without,
Todd,
burdening?
now remember, I'm speaking as me. Phyllis Bernard, individual, because this is here as candidate. This isn't Phyllis Bernard as commissioner, especially as I say the following. I think we put way too much emphasis on that, okay? That's one of the things that I wish that Olympia could get some common sense about. I actually am an administrative law expert, and I have never seen a state as overregulated as the state of Washington is. It is insanity from my perspective as an individual, not speaking on behalf of the PUD Commission. Okay, it seems as if there are at least a half a dozen different departments, federal and state, who believe that they have jurisdiction over every single decision that is made, and the result is that nothing moves forward. And in particular, and this is one of the things that we were discussing at the Washington PUD Association meeting in Wenatchee last week, it is essential that these agencies, including, for example, the Department of Ecology most notably, when they turn thumbs down to a proposal that the engineers and the community have come up with that works, and then the Department of Ecology decides that there is one further level or layer or change that needs to be made in order to satisfy them when everybody else is satisfied, and they kill the project, that department has to have a responsibility for accounting for the impact on reliability in our system. And reliability as far as I'm concerned, oftentimes counts more than is it perfectly green. We already have one of the most green grids in the nation. And I think that going forward, our issue is, will the various administrative agencies allow us the innovation to change some of their locked-in permitting processes so that we can make those adjustments, especially for things like distributive generation that's renewable? I'll not take up too much more of my time so my friend Ken can respond to.
Right. Yeah, Ken, same question then. Green energy, how do you balance that into the cost for our customers?
Well, hydro is going to be the cheapest energy we've got, and I kind of consider that green. But in terms of what we can do as Clallam County, the greenest thing and the quickest thing we can do is to fire up the cogen plant at the McKinley paper mill. If we want to contribute to the grid at all in a green manner, that's going to be the quickest way we can do it. So working along with McKinley paper might be a really good solution to contributing to that. Other than that, we're talking about familiar things like solar, which doesn't work very well at night. It doesn't work when you've got good cloud cover like we often get here. We can do some things with solar that will, on a small scale, help us. And certainly you're used to seeing wind. We don't do a lot of that over here. We've got too many species of birds that like to fly east and west, and so I don't see us being able to do a whole lot in the way of adding wind energy here. But there's lots of things available to us. At one point, we even talked about dragging a submarine cable from Vancouver Island to, offset the one feed that we have from Shelton up here to Port Angeles. So there are a lot of things coming up, and green energy conversations are something we're mandated to have. So we'll be talking about that a lot in the future.
You mentioned the cogen plant. That was going to, I think, Piggy's onto my next question. Is it time for the Clallam PUD to invest in its own generation?
That's a good question. If they do, it needs to make sense. So even when we talk about grant money, you got to remember grant money is still our money, one way or the other. And so a lot of considerations on how we decide to provide our own power or offset the grid in a manner that we're contributing to it, because right now we're not. We're a total customer of Bonneville. We don't contribute really anything meaningful back to them. So be a great idea if we could find something that made sense that we could afford.
All right. Phil, the same question. PUD and its own generation of power.
Sure. Let me start, though, with cogen and the McKinley plant, which does not belong to the Clallam County PUD, at least not anymore. And for many of the same reasons that it is not viable at this point, it seems, for other operations. It's not going to be viable, it appears, for the people of Clallam County and PUD. What is it that we need most in terms of generation for the PUD? We need distributive generation that is in different locations at different, able to operate independently as needed, particularly in the case of any sort of a catastrophic failure of that one, some people call it extension cord, that links us to BPA. Bonneville Power Administration is everything except for what we can do on our own. And most recently, we have a wonderful announcement from last week, almost $650,000 in grant money for us to take what had been a substation in Squim that was going dark, that had been part of a community solar project that didn't quite work. And instead, we're going to be installing battery power there, which is absolutely essential for any renewable project. There has to be battery storage in order for it to make any sense. So that, for example, if you're using solar during the day, you're storing some of that energy so it can be released at night, so you balance it out. Same thing with wind, so that there's battery storage on-site or as close to on-site as possible, so that when the wind is not doing its wonderful thing for us, that we still are able to balance out the grid that way. I am a huge proponent of small microgrid projects, And the project out in Squim that was recently announced is one of those. And what we are looking forward to is being able to take other substations throughout Clallam County and also turn those into independent operations for generating power if and when it is necessary, because that main extension cord has somehow or another been cut. It is exciting to realize that with so many of the projects that are currently underway, like what the PNNL is doing out in Squim Bay and will be doing out here in Port Angeles, and projects that are underway in the development stage generally, that have to do with helping to save our water supplies, also simultaneously can generate power for us. For example, taking the water that runs off in great gushing amounts out on the west end in areas like Forks, for example, and taking that overflow, turning that into hydroelectric power as we shunt that into areas where we can reserve that water for our dry months. Our biggest issue here, really, above and beyond almost anything else, is our need to be able to have water both for drinking, for fishing, for the survival of our environment, and for hydroelectric power of any sort. It's a drought that's taking over the entire western United States. So it's not that, oh, we're going to be able to do better by getting it from somewhere else. All we have to do is look in the Olympic Range and see only 50% of normal snowpack this winter. And sadly, according to the scientist whose entire job is to monitor this, for the Olympic Range, that's about as good as it's going to get from now going forward. Todd, in the length of time that you were talking about, that it seemed as if your kid, didn't you just have a birthday 2 weeks ago? That's how it feels to most of us. We watch this kid who's a toddler, and then the next thing we know, they're asking for the keys to the car to drive to the prom. And that's how much time it will be before there is zero snowpack in the Olympics. And that snowpack is the only reservoir that we have for water here in this area of Clallam County. That is something that requires our immediate attention. And it's something that I am energetic about planning for, so that we have in place those systems that are necessary and those that are micro level. I'm not talking huge. I'm talking about retaining walls, for example, that may be only about 3 feet high and has side channels so the fish can flow, but we have a bit of retention of water during those months when we will have a great deal of it, but we can release it as we need during the drier months. I live on the West Fork of the Elwha River. End of May this year, it looked like I was back in Oklahoma in post-Dust Bowl days. There was no water flowing on that West Fork. And that's also where my community and where Ted Simpson and his family, Ken's dad, would get our water from the community well. That's scary as all get out, because that's where all of our water comes from for the rivers around here. And that needs to be a matter that we take very, very seriously and move forward with.
All right, I let Phyllis go on that because that was my next question, was about water.
So I've answered that,
answered
so now
the next one,
you
so I'm going to let
can.
Ken talk about what do you do about water, another huge issue, maybe even a larger issue for the PUD in some ways.
Sure. So for starters, Phyllis, I own the piece of property that abuts your water system out on the Place Road, and the reason, and it's deep, that's a deep well, but the reason there's no water in that channel is because the Elwha tribe has diverted it upstream from us to get more water on their side where the hatchery is primarily. So that's that part of it. Right now, the PUD has hired a consulting firm to look at all of the water systems that they're responsible for, and next year, 2025, those results should be available. We'll have a really good opportunity to look at each individual well site and water system, and then make some decisions on whether or not we build bigger storage or what we do to make sure that each neighborhood's got their own good water source. We obviously have a couple, 3 neighborhoods, Mount Angeles, Gales Addition, and Monroe Road right now that we buy water from the city to keep those customers fed. And the city just placed some water restrictions on those 3 neighborhoods, along with some other people in the community. So yeah, certainly some concerns about water. From a Columbia River standpoint, August the 8th, the Pacific Northwest Labs produced a document that said we should, in the next 15 years, have 4 to 6% more water than we currently have in that system. But it's not going to come as we're used to it, with most of it snow, or a lot of it snowpack. So we're going to have to figure out what we're going to do with that excess water. And if we generate more hydro and less wind, or what we do, and by we I mean Bonneville and Clallam County PUD commissioners will have some knowledge as to what's going on, and probably a little bit of opportunity to give some input. But yeah, some of those are some regional decisions that look at the whole 1,232 miles of Columbia River to solve those problems.
And
All right.
Todd, could I respond to that?
Yeah,
please?
real quick, and then we got to
Yes.
have time to have a response. So, all right,
Okay.
a closing mark.
I'll start with the very end, that the water does not come when Bonneville can actually use it, even though there will be more rains. And thank you for bringing to our attention the fact that, yes, just overall, there isn't as much water in the Elwha as there used to be and as we're accustomed to thinking about. And my approach continues to be that we really do need to be collaborating together to make sure that everybody's interests, including the tribal interests, are given their due concern. And I look forward to working with and for the people of Clallam County to make sure that in the 21st century, we all will thrive.
All right. About 30 seconds. Hate to make it so short, but just a real why should we vote for you, Phyllis, as we wrap things up?
Because I'm about your future, I'm not about my past. I am about making sure that your children and grandchildren will have a viable, vibrant, green life here on the Olympic Peninsula, because I understand how to make big projects like this happen for the people.
All right. Ken, quick, why should we vote for you?
Well, I'm the local guy, and I've spent my entire career at one job, and that's being an electrician, an electrical contractor. And that experience has poised me to know the industry and to know the challenges that we're going to face. And I'm a fiscally conservative and responsible guy, and that's what I bring to the table. And I think that the job of the Clallam County PUD Commission is to make some local decisions for local customers, and I'm prepared to do that. I appreciate your vote.
All right. That's Ken Simpson, and that's Phyllis Bernard. Thank you both for spending a few minutes
Thank
here. We
you,
just
Todd.
barely scratched the surface, obviously, of a very important, I think, commission that does a lot of things that affect so many of us, and these two are running to get a seat on that board as well. So we'll take a break and wrap things up next.
I understand that as our world becomes more automated, receiving personalized service from a real person is more meaningful than ever. I'm Dan Shappy, and as a farmer's agent, I know a thing or two about how to help you select the insurance you want so you can
protect what matters most.
Call 360-681-0696 to learn more and chat with me, a real person and experienced farmer's agent, today.
We are farmers. Bum, ba-dum, bum, 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 bum.
Underwritten by Farmers Truck Fire Insurance Exchanges and Affiliates. Products not available in every state.
Red Carpet Car Wash in Carlsberg is always adding to the list of things they provide to keep your vehicle looking brand new. The full detail shop is just one more service to check off that list. Not only will your interior and exterior shine, your engine will sparkle too. Red Carpet is also getting some winter upgrades, including new equipment in the manual bay and new vacuums. Call Kyle today and let him get you scheduled for your red carpet treatment Tuesday through Saturday. 360-461-0826.
Hi, this is Rod Fleck. I'm asking you to vote for Randy Johnson for County Commissioner so we can keep Randy working for all of us when it comes to important things like economic development. He's worked hard for decades and ensuring everybody has an opportunity to do better, have a better paying job, and enjoy working and living here in Clallam County. Let's keep Randy working for us. Vote for Randy this November.
Paid for by the committee to elect Randy Johnson for County Commissioner.
When shopping for building supplies, lumber, home goods, or hardware items, are you traveling to one of those big box stores? When you wander those big box store aisles, how's that customer service? Absent? Possibly lacking in knowledge?
I don't know.
At Angeles Millwork and Hartnaggles, we have 2 convenient Port Angeles locations, and each one is far from the big box store experience.
Yay!
Since our stores are employee-owned, each one of us has a vested interest in how we serve and treat our customers. You won't find us hiding in the back aisle or turning the other way when you make eye contact for help.
They can't see me if I can't see them.
We're excited to share our day with you while making sure we set the bar high for what true customer service is all about. So if you're looking for a hometown building supply store that treats their customers like next-door neighbors, has deep knowledge on building products while continually supporting the local community, then avoid those trips out of town and come see us today. Angeles Millwork and Hartnagel Building Supply. Building homes, building community since 1906.
We're the talk of the peninsula. News Radio KONP, Port Angeles Squim, FM 101.7 and 101.3, a Radio Pacific station.
At Coastal, we're celebrating with savings for our anniversary.
Coastal Farm and Ranch, we're just what the country needs.
Shop from Wednesday, September 25th through Tuesday, October 1st, and save $4 off Purina, Leina, Layer, Crumble, or Pellets. Browse our apparel deals, including 20% off Wrangler men's and women's Western jeans. Discover the latest styles from our cool section, new to Coastal. And we're not stopping there. Become a member of the Free Country Club today and be automatically entered to win $500 gift cards, swag bags, a mini bike, or even a new grill. All at your Coastal store.
Coastal Farm and Ranch, we're just what the country needs.
Save and win big this week at Coastal.
Building a future, sharing a dream. Working together, we're on the same team.
Are you tired of paying high interest rates on your consumer loans? Look no further than Straight View Credit Union. We're proud to offer the best consumer loan rates in Clallam County, so you can borrow what you need without breaking the bank. Whether you're looking to purchase a new car, make home improvements, or consolidate debt, we've got you covered. Our friendly and knowledgeable staff will guide you through the loan process and help you find a payment plan that works for your budget. Plus, as a member-owned cooperative, we prioritize your financial well-being over profits. Join us today and experience the Straight View Credit Union difference. Visit us online at svcu.com or in person to apply for your consumer loan today. Insured by NCUA, Equal Housing Lender.
Hi, this is Tristan with Tri-State Roofing. We are celebrating the grand pre-opening in Squim. We specialize in roofs, siding, gutters, patio covers, and doors. The best part? We got you covered with incredible financing. 0 down payment, 0 payments, and 0 interest for up to 18 months on approved credit. Experience the Tri-State way. We've got you covered 24/7. Call 253-ROOFING or tristate.pro.
Tri-State Roofing, we got you covered.
At United Way of Clallam County, we want to make it easier for our community to access high-quality, affordable education. That is why United Way, in partnership with Peninsula College, offers free help with student financial aid navigation. No clue where to start when it comes to paying for education? Start with our student financial aid liaison. Whether you're going to PC or out of state, email collegeaccess@unitedwayclallam.org to book an appointment now.
KONP News brought to you by McCrory Carpet One. Always priced right, always done right. McCrory Carpet One. Well, if you rely on state ferries to get around, the cost of your commute's going up this week. Washington State Ferries bumping up the price of a ticket by 4% beginning this Tuesday. The change affects every route, something we warned you about last year when they raised prices another 4%. WSF says that Tuesday is also the first day with no peak season surcharge for vehicles, but that surcharge will be coming back in May of next year. The earth is moving in our area. An earthquake near Bremerton Sunday morning. That followed another quake near Victoria that happened earlier in the week. This latest, a 3.0 magnitude quake at 7:49 Sunday morning, depth of 16 miles.
Here's your News Radio KONP forecast, brought to you by All Weather Heating and Cooling. Daytime highs approaching 57 this afternoon under partly cloudy skies. Winds out of the east, 5 to 10 miles per hour. Partly cloudy skies again tonight. Lows level off around 48. 58 tomorrow. Slight chance of rain showers. Upper 50s Wednesday and Thursday. A peek at the extended shows, 63 Friday, 61 Saturday, and 61 on Sunday. Once again, we should top off around 57 today. Lows level off around 48 tonight. High of 58 tomorrow. That's a look at your forecast. I'm meteorologist Paul Trombley. Currently, it's 57 degrees.
Work that they love and create actual amazing relationships. I'm Dave Ramsey, your host. Thank you for joining us. George Camel, Ramsey personality, #1 best-selling author, and host of the George Camel Show on the Ramsey Network's YouTube show. You want to be sure and check that out. He's my co-host today. Open phones at 888-825-5225. You jump in. We'll talk about your life and your money. Sarah is in Seattle to start this hour. Hi, Sarah. How are you?
Hi, Dave. Thanks for taking my call.
Sure. What's up?
I'm looking for some investment advice.
Okay.
So I'm a 50-year-old homeschooling mom. I've been homeschooling for about 20 years, and we've been on a single income for a long time and budgeting and living within our means. But recently, about 4 or 5 years ago, I used